So you're welcome to the entertainment arena. My name is Lerny. Now today promises to be an exciting episode, most importantly because of my guest today. So we have our profiling segment. There's entertainment news, which we call Tito Tato, out the box, which is social media trends, and then 5 and 5, which is our game time segment. So we're going to jump right into the profiling now. This person is awesome. He's intelligent, he speaks well, he's amazing. Well, welcome, Okyeame.
Hello,
Hi.
beautiful. I like your hair.
Hi, handsome. Thank you. We are doing it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month,
Yeah.
so that's why I have
You
pink
pinked
hair.
out. Yeah,
Yes,
I think I
please.
should pink out too.
You should.
Yeah, for breast cancer.
Try it.
I will.
Try it. Let's
I'm
see
gonna
how it goes.
dye my hair pink.
Then you become my hair twinny.
Yes.
Yes. I can't wait for that to happen.
Yes.
All right, so let's jump right in, okay? When you started music, did you think that hip life will come this far?
When I started music, the first or the last thing I thought of was how far the type of music I was doing would go. I didn't think of it as a genre of music. I thought of it as a way of expressing myself. And as long as I expressed myself, and people were willing to hear it, it wasn't important as to how far it will go. Get awards, hip life becomes international, Nigerian artists will begin to do exactly what we are doing, or journalists will write about it. Some of the lyrics will end up in university curriculum and things like that. I didn't look at it from that point. As a creator, I was just mused to write rap and create songs that would speak to the time.
Okay.
I was young. I was focused on exciting people. To tell you the truth, I didn't even know that apart from music being like a coping mechanism for people who are stressed or for people to become happy, I didn't know all the other things that music would do to people. I was just creating music.
Okay.
I just get honestly, I didn't look at it as a movement. I didn't look at it as a type of music. No, I didn't. But as I was growing up and I saw what the music was doing, then I realized that, oh, this goes beyond excitement. It goes beyond entertainment. It is academics. It is historic.
Yeah.
It is futuristic. Then I started paying attention to how it was unfolding. But if I tell you that 22 years ago, I had the intelligence to imagine how far hip life would go, I'm lying to you.
Okay. Now that said, you mentioned hip life being a genre, right? Having helped hip life gain grounds, would you start another genre if given the chance?
Well, I have grown from paid attention to the type of music I make. I've grown from even being a hip life artist or a hip hop artist to just being an artist. Because art is about expression of the soul. It's about how you feel to express yourself based on your orientation and goal. So starting another type of music, to me, is irrelevant.
Okay.
However, how best do I express myself now for my audience to understand? And now that I'm old, how best do I express myself now so that 50 years from now, someone will look at this expression and say it was organic, it was original, it was relevant.
Okay.
That is how I look at it. Starting another, no. And then, but to look at it from another point, I don't think that we need to start another.
Okay.
Because for my generation, hip life has become the historic thing that we did as musicians artistically. Therefore, it is important that we continue to stretch its relevance by continuously creating hip life music. And if that is how you look at it. But I think that is just an expression. If I decide one day that I'm not going to even play music, I'm going to paint. I want to draw. I want to write. I want to use rap music to create music for 4-year-olds and add pictures so that they can learn easily. If that is how I feel I should now channel my energies, and that's how I feel spiritually, I think I should be allowed to do it.
Okay, right. So that said, some people say that musicians resort to music because they are not academically good. You're done with your masters, you're onto your PhD. what's your motivation to pursue higher education?
You know that little knowledge is dangerous knowledge.
Yeah. Drink deep or taste not.
I'm telling you, it's because God created man to keep searching, to keep finding, to keep knowing, to so the day that you stop asking why, that day you stop you cease to exist. So it's very, very important that we keep seeking, either it's in science, in spiritualism, it's in art, history, wherever. Everybody must keep seeking, because that is the only way that we can keep improving and keep making the world a much more comfortable place to be. So yes, I remember when I wanted to become a musician, my father sat me down and said, I'll allow you to do this thing only if you promise to at least get a first degree. So our society is molded in a way that if you do not go to school and become a doctor or a journalist or a lawyer or an accountant, you have failed. And I think that that is one of the major reasons why Africa, Ghana, is still where we are.
I agree with
Yes,
you.
so it is important that we let people express ourselves, because that's what development is about. So we need more plumbers, we need more carpenters, we need more bricklayers, we need more.
Everyone is important. Actually.
Yes, everyone is important. To tell you the truth, the people who create in the concept of developing and extending God's idea of creativity, the people who create are even more important than the ones who copy and regurgitate what have been read to them in books and reproduce it. I'm telling you. So if we really, really want to develop people like musicians, because you know how difficult it is to score a hit. You must sit down and get a vibe in your spirit that if I put these words together and let it rhyme this way and take this concept, I can get 32 million people to accept that this is good, so that they will all react to it in a positive way. That is a science in itself. That is anthropology. That is sociology. That is philosophy.
Wow.
That is. Do you know how difficult it will be for a college professor to write a song and make it hit?
Yeah.
It is almost impossible. Exactly. But a 19-year-old medical can write a song, Omwada, and then the whole nation will be singing. Do you know how intelligent it is for him to know that if he combines the melodic pattern of da 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 and the words Omwada, he will get the whole nation dancing. To jump to it. You understand? That is intelligence. So it is totally wrong. But then again, it's all remnants of colonialism and imperialism and the things that the English people, some of the little legacies that the English people left us here, is that if we do not behave like them, we will not develop, or will not be seen to be, corporate enough. But look at it this way. They translated the Bible into Twi and Ewe and Ga, and they didn't translate one engineering book into Twi. That should tell you that is how much they wish you know. So we as a people must now begin to realize that if we do not have more plumbers and more cooks, and we have more hoteliers and have more people in the creative scene, people painting, people writing, if we do not have more storytellers, we won't develop. Because we need the net total of all that to be able to develop. Yeah. So the pressure is actually on us to now deconstruct the way our minds are created, to be able to now move beyond what the world expects us to be, a consuming market.
Okay. So considering how long you've been in music, right, or you've been in the industry generally, will there be a time where you put away music to put your degrees to full use?
My degrees are already in full use. They're already in full use, okay. And everything that I learn comes to play the next week that I have the knowledge.
Okay.
Either I'm using it to teach my children, I'm using it to write a post, I'm using it to have an interview, I'm placing the philosophies in my music. But however, to answer your question, no. I don't think that music is not it's not a career. It's a calling.
Okay.
You don't choose to become a musician. You are created to become a musician, because the faculties in your mind that even helps you to create songs for 22 years and consistently be able to play, you don't have any control over it. because talent is defined as developed interest. And how did you get your interest? God put it there for you. It's probably coming from your ancestral lineage. Your great 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 grandfather was a musician, probably in a court. He was a poet, he was a storyteller, and it comes through your genealogy until it gets to a point where you are supposed to now deliver this mystic vibe. It's not yours. So you don't have the power to truncate it at a certain point.
Okay.
If you let the spirit actually flow through you. However, it gets to a point where you have become old, you have become a daddy. And for example, in a place like Ghana, we have not created the audience culture properly. So once you are an artist and you hit a certain age and you are no longer interesting to the youth or to millennials who pay attention to Twitter tweets and Instagram, and then your music sort of become less relevant. But in other places where the audience culture is developed, if you are people between 20 and 35 listen to this type of music, people from 35 to 50 listen to soul and R&B, people from 50 to 70 listen to jazz and
Country.
this and country. Once that audience segmentation is done properly, as an artist, you just move from one stage to the other, and you keep making your music, you keep expressing yourself. So I do not think that a time will come where I will hang my mic, but never say never. The Bible is only a fool who doesn't change his mind. But as I sit here, I don't have any plans, because when I create music, even if no one hears it, it brings out the God in me. It gives me opportunity to touch the God that lives within me, because that's what God does. So I don't only create to score a hit, I create to make myself happy. I create to express what I'm going through. I create to write or to write the historic moment of what is happening now. The idea of idea archaeology. So you look at something, you write something about it, and then you put it in the system. 200 years later, someone
can still
refer to it and say, oh, so in 2014, people danced at Zonto, and they did it because they are taking dances from the Ghana people, from the West, from the blended together and created, so that's why we create, so that children 2,000 years later can look at the document and be able to refer to history without having to look at dates and this and that and that. It's just a vibe that we keep. So I don't think that I can ever. However, I'm going to grow into a more heterogeneous person where I do other things like painting, like storytelling, like going into educational music, because I'm a daddy, like using my image to do more development and things like that. Yes, I'm going to go, but I do not wish to ever stop that one thing that made me Okyeame Kwame, which is the music.
Okay. So aside music, you mentioned that you do other stuff. So let's put the music, the arts, the creativity aside. What else? What's the other side of Okyeame Kwame?
Wow, there's a lot. The other side of Okyeame Kwame is I'm also a businessman, so which is still tied to creativity. So currently we just developed a product line called Santi's Hair for my daughter, and looking at the way whenever you take my daughter to the salon, she cries and she doesn't want her hair done, and then we try to find out why, and then we use that information to develop a hairline for children.
Okay.
So apart from that right now, currently, that's where most of my energies are going, because we just released the product about 2 weeks ago. We are trying to fill the whole market, the whole national, market, salons and things before we actually launch the product. Okay. So my energies are there. Apart from that, I also lend my personality to developmental things, like I'm the National Reading Ambassador. I work with World Reader and Canadian Embassy, the BETS, Foundation, to encourage reading in children, and the concept of reading to your children and having a great relationship with them. In the same vein, I'm also working with UNICEF as the father example, so that to let people understand, you have to touch your child, you have to spend time with them, no matter how much you want money. So I'm doing a lot of things. We're doing coconut promotion. I'm doing the Made in Ghana campaign. I just, from all that music has given me and made me this Okyeame Kwame that people like to take pictures with, I just believe that until I jump into the gutters, roll up my my sleeves and scratch the people where it's itching the most, I've not done much. So I'm using the music as a conduit to national development. Okay. So everything that is related to development, I'm doing.
Great. Now you've been in the industry for well over 2 decades.
Yes.
There are people that you've seen come into the industry, people that you refer to as babies, quote unquote, who have signed artists. Will you sign artists? And then Abochi was on your label. Where is he now?
Abochi is working on himself. He is in Togo right now. Okay. He's a major producer in Togo. He's producing for big names. Abochi is coming out. I didn't sign him to my label. I took him as a mentee.
Okay.
That I took him as a mentor that I was mentoring, and I'm still doing it. So every week we are talking about songwriting. If you see that his songwriting skills is improving. So Abochi is a person that I'm mentoring, and I believe that very soon he will drop his album. He's done an amazing album. He will drop the album, and the world will see the power that he has. But beyond that, would I sign an artist? Maybe yes, maybe no. It is not an easy thing to do, especially if the number of people that you have working with you are not dedicated to working with other people. So the team right now, my team is quite small, and all the things that we've taken on to do, like selling the hair and being an ambassador for AU and all those things are a bit much for us, for my team to contain. So maybe when our pressure lowers or I get more people on the team, then maybe we can take on more art, because it is not something for an artist to do. It's something for a record label to do. So if I need to set up artists and give them nice setup and shoot videos for them and follow them and endorse them, it is something that I must do professionally. I must give it my 100%. Okay. But I don't think I have that 100% now to be able to do it. But maybe, never say never, maybe in the future, maybe we'll add that to it.
Okay.
So in connection with signing artists, I've spent a lot of money on other artists, apart from even Abochi.
Okay.
I've spent money on my brothers. Okay. I brought them out as One Mic Entertainment. I put a lot of money on Morris the Voice. We recorded a whole album, Home and Away. That Shame on You became a hit. I co-wrote the song, I produced it. I put a lot of money in Tattoo. I recorded a whole album for him. Before we dropped the album, he said he's now a Christian. He doesn't want to do music anymore. I have done collaborations with budding artists. I have spent time to actually mentor many young artists. So yes, I put money in artists before, but currently that's not where my vision is.
So I did mention the fact that you've been in the industry for well over 2 decades. So please share with us your tips to longevity in this industry.
Wow, tips to longevity. I would say the first one is originality. You have to be true to yourself. And if you are true to yourself, and that's where you draw from, not imitating what is around you. You are wearing baggy jeans because Jay-Z is wearing baggy jeans. If you are wearing baggy jeans because you didn't have a belt that day and your pants are sagging, it's totally different from you intentionally did not wear a belt because Jay-Z did not wear a belt. So because you have not asked Jay-Z, why didn't you wear a belt? So originality is key. You have to be true to yourself. 1. 2, you need to draw from your culture. If you want to be different, if you want what you are doing to mean something to the people you are doing it for, you must draw from them. You need to select elements of what is within your culture. If you realize, I select a lot of Edinkra symbols, Adwa rhythms, all those things are what is within my culture, and that's what I select from, because all the other people who are aligned to that type of culture will easily be aligned to your music. And every time you select from whenever I do a song called Pink Hair, and immediately I drop the song. If the song is nice, you will like it. You see, when I said Pink Hair, you are laughing. So you need to select from the people that you are producing for. That one is very, very key. Okay. Apart from that, you need to surround yourself with a team that loves you and that loves and shares your vision. So you are trying to create a brand of a responsible rapper, and your team members are running around getting drunk in clubs and saying, "Don't mind him. He doesn't even pay us. Don't mind him." No matter, because they are the people who are like your gates. So when they spread bad word around you, you are done, because no matter how much you pay for television or how well you speak on interviews, it is still about word of mouth. So you need to surround yourself with people who truly love you and people who share your vision, who believe in what you are doing. You need to be professional. When you say that I'll come and perform at 8 o'clock, you must be there by 7:59. That is key. You have to be timely. You have to let your gatekeepers, the people that work with you, that interface you and the world and other businesses, they need to speak well. They need to be kind people. They must make sure that even when you as an artist, you have flaws, it is not coming into the public. So your gatekeepers must be professional, look well, dress well, speak well, because it's a business. Beyond that, you need to have the big idea. You need to have a big idea in business. It's the biggest plan that you have had attached to your brand direction that you work backwards from.
Okay.
For example, my big idea is, say, to become president of Ghana in 12 years. I didn't say that is my big idea. For example,
Yeah.
if my biggest idea is to become president of Ghana in 12 years, everything that I do now must be done in such a way that in 12 years, if I say I want to become president of Ghana, no, people will not say, which weed did he smoke?
Yeah.
So you need to have a big idea. Maybe to become UN ambassador for peace, or to win a Grammy, or your big idea is to become the most influential musician in Africa by 20 this time, and you peg that idea, then you work backwards from it, making sure that everything that will not help you achieve that, you won't do. Everything that will help you achieve that, you will do. So you must have a vision. You must have the big idea. You need to say, okay, by the time I'm 60, I must be called to Parliament on the Entertainment Committee. I must be called to Parliament on the Entertainment Committee for all cultural activities, even though I'm not a politician. If that is your big idea, you have to make sure that, because it goes beyond just having talent and performance. Morality also comes in here.
Yeah, that's true.
Wisdom, knowledge, acquisition of knowledge, all those things. So you must have a big idea. For longevity, you need to touch people. I've already said that you have to draw from the people. That is totally different from touching people. You need to make music that is relevant to the people today, tomorrow, and the day after. So if you really want to have longevity, your music must do something to the people every time they hear it. That is very, very key. Whatever it is that you are doing, you need to choose a path. That, for example, if you take an artist like Okyeame, every time you listen to his music, it makes sense. You can relate to the student learning. If you listen to Daddy Lumba, his music will excite you in a certain way, and it is relevant today, tomorrow, and the day after.
Timeless.
It's timeless. That's what I'm saying. It is because the music touches you at a timeless, at a certain level where you cannot put it within space and time. It is always relevant. You must touch people. I think these are some of the tricks that I have used to stay at Okyeame Kwame till today.
And thank you, Okyeame. It's been an insightful conversation. We are going to jump into entertainment. It's time for Tito Tato, which is our entertainment news segment. I'm starting with Sarkodie, who has yet again made Ghana proud at this year's BET Hip Hop Awards. He emerged the first ever winner of Best International Flow, and he dedicated this award to his daughter Titi and urged people to visit Ghana, this year being the year of return. So let's listen to his acceptance speech.
to my family. This one is for my little girl, so a couple of years back when I started, shout to Akon. I see you. Akon's song The Dream. I think Africa's always had it, and it's about that time. This year is the year of return, and I would urge each and every one of you here to take a trip back home, come back far, and this Christmas is going down in Ghana. So if you're coming to Africa, choose Ghana. You know what time it is. So
They're encouraging people to visit Ghana, which is a good way of putting Ghana on the map. Now, Sarkodie went up against other artists. He went up against Falls the Bad Guy from Nigeria, Nasty C from South Africa, Gets from the UK, Tory Lanez from Canada, and also female rapper Lil Sims from the UK. Congratulations to Sarkodie. So musician Becca has said that whoever says that she once dated Nam1 is being disrespectful. Now, there was speculation that Becca was signed to Xylophone Music because she and Nam1 were in a relationship. But for the upteenth time, Becca has denied this. Well, in an interview on Rainbow Radio, she said, and I quote, "That is not true. When you say something like that, that is disrespectful." Now, she said this in answering the question whether she was dating Nam1 or not. So there you have it. Please do not disrespect Becca. Okay? Musician Joy B has disclosed why he stopped going to church. Now, speaking to Lexus on his Drive Time show, Joy B says, and I'm quoting him, "I do not go to church because people worry me with pictures. People would come after me and we take pictures and they say that this one is not nice, we should take another one. I kind of lose focus when I go to church because of this attitude, and so I stopped attending church. But I have a Bible that I read always. I even have a Bible on my phone. I pray more than 10 times a day. I'm a spiritual person. I don't joke with God at all." So, you see, you people, you always want to take pictures. You have stopped someone's son from going to church. Repent. God will ask you. Okay? Alright, so that brings us to the end of Tato Tato. Let's jump into our social media trends. Out the Box is up next. In Ghana, it's said that all of these social media sensations do not trend for over 6 months. And checking the records, I think there's some truth in it. Looking at Rashida, 2000, Super, Mr. Eventuary, what happened to him? And even now, Shatabando, now someone is kicking him awful because Mebusem has been trending for a couple of weeks now. For those of you who do not know Mebusem, he is the Ghana Jesus. So let's watch these and then we'll be back.
Ajuma, susumu ajuma. Why adie? Some ababe bomb pie. Yes. Nasana no. Roman 40 dunsia chemu dunsia was some fanfia no kronkron emma mo ho akwaba. Hwede oto benkuma na onifa. Na fanfia no ma na kwaba. Susumu ajuma. Mumu hwan na afole amamie.
Yes, me. Yes, way. Oh, yes, me. Yes, way.
Yes, way.
Yes, way.
Mempe mumu bia.
Oh.
Muko transi.
Oh, yes. Oh.
So I think that he's funny with how he talks, but having to mimic Jesus in a comical way, I think is quite blasphemous, because you can create content, you can be funny without having to go to that extent of even dressing like the Jesus that was shown to us. This is my own 2 cents. I think he can do what he's doing. He can be the best version of himself and be the comedian that he's posing to be, but he should just stay clear of that path because it raises too many eyebrows and then it's very questionable. So that brings us to the end of Out the Box for this week. Let's jump right into 5 and 5. Welcome back. So it's time for our game time segment. And today I'm excited for the questions. Now, Okyeame has been in the industry for so long. So even if the questions are dated back to 1950 something, he should know. Okyeame, do you want sugary tea or hot tea?
One sugary tea.
Sugary tea. Sugary tea coming up. I'm always happy when it comes to this segment. Okay. So what happens is when you miss out on the question, you have to drink.
Okay. So we are starting.
First question. Who won Artist of the Year at Ghana Music Awards in 2003?
2003.
Yes, please.
Continue.
Wow! Wow! Okay, you got that. You got that. Wow! How did you? I saw you were counting.
Yes, because I'm checking from the time I won,
Okay.
and then Kwadwentry won,
Okay.
and Lord Kenya won, then Continue won.
It's too smart, Shani. Too smart. Second question.
I'm a record label in Accra. I have produced and managed several top stars. Until recently, I was managing a female dancehall artist. Who am I?
Links Entertainment.
Correct. Today it doesn't seem like I'm going to get him to drink, but anyway. Who was the tourism, culture, and creative minister under the former President Mahama? Yeah, you got it. That's right. Okay. Which music group has grown stronger over the years?
Music group in Ghana.
Yes, in
or
Ghana.
Rap group.
Just music group generally. Whether rap, hip life.
They've grown stronger over the years.
Over the years, yeah.
It's relative. Stronger is relative because
your time too is going.
but stronger is relative because that might be strong for you, might be weak for me. So the question is not absolute.
Okay.
However, when we come to hip life, we can talk of VIP. We can talk of VVIP. If we go to gospel, we can talk of the Tego sisters.
You give us the list.
The Tego sisters. When we come to for hip life is VVIP. It's going strong. They broke up, but for hip life it is the most consistent, hip life group, between Okyeame and 4X4 and all the groups, Aketechi and all the groups. R2Bs.
Yes.
They are not a group, they are family.
No. That is what I was looking for.
Yes.
So let's go. Okyeame, please drink.
Too much sugar.
That's what you asked for.
Okay, R2Bs, you are right.
Alright. So thanks for coming, Okyeame. I enjoyed the show today. And as I said before, it was very, very insightful. I hope you at home enjoyed it as well. I want to say thanks to ABK. I have worried you, I have disturbed you, but yeah, you made this happen for me. Thanks. And thanks to my producer, Pep, as well. To my camera person, my editor, Aben, Nee. Shouts to you all. To Alex, I appreciate you all. Thank you. I'll catch you next week.